Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Pretty, and today, as you might know by the title of the video, I'm going to answer some of your long awaited PACU questions. I have so many comments on that video and so many people are interested in the PACU, which I get it. Critical care, especially ER, ICU, can be so daunting and tiring. Even though we love the craft, sometimes you just need a little break. So I'm going to go try and go through some of these comments and see if I could just answer them here for all the new people who are coming in. And if you have the same questions, make sure you like and you subscribe. It's free. Don't cost you anything. It's free. All right? It's free. All right. This one that I thought it was just so long to respond to. This guy, Key 11, said, what are some of the things you do on a day-to-day as a PACU nurse? Maybe taking a PACU job soon. All right, so for both, depending on your department, you have a pre-op area where you pretty much get people ready to go into surgery. Then you have PACU, which is really the post-anesthesia. So once they're coming out of surgery, then you take care of them there. If you are working in the pre-op area, first things first, you're going to get the patient in and you're going to do a intake, which is going through your pre-op checklist. So if you're a med-surg nurse or a ER nurse, ICU, not really so much ICU, ER, med-surg nurse, they'll ask you, have you done the pre-op checklist? So that's going over, was the consent signed? All of that stuff. If you are the pre-op nurse, then once you get the patient back, consent is signed, you have them use the bathroom, you take a wait normally, then you go through that long list of questions, seeing when was the last time you ate, blah, 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 blah. The list is there, and I guess it's dependent on your hospital. You also do a med rec. When was the last time they took their medications? If they had to drink a carb drink for surgery, did you drink your carb drink? Did you use a sage wipe to wipe your body down? Stuff like that, that's all documented. Then you have to make sure you start your IV depending on the type of surgery. Different surgeries require 2 IVs versus 1 IV versus if it's a urology procedure, what kind of bed do you want, or hover mat, or every hospital is different. If it's an eye surgery, do you need an eye bed or an eye gurney? So all of these are taken into consideration. You have the patient change, you pre-warm them, start your IV, hang all your meds, whatever it is. If you need to give meds before they go in, then your anesthesiologist will come by, he'll do his interview. The OR nurses will come by, they'll do their interview and sets the questions. So you'll meet the entire team. So as the pre-op nurse, you're literally getting them ready for surgery, making sure the legal work is done, and making sure, you know, skin is good. I've seen surgeries canceled because of cat scratch, especially if you're getting metal in your body and knee replacement or spine surgery with screws and stuff like that. If you have a cat scratch and it's recent, they will cancel your surgery because you don't want your hardware to become infected. So that's a little bit about pre-op. As far as PACU recovery, what are you doing? You're literally just being there to make sure that the patient wakes up from anesthesia in a safe manner. Mind you, they're already, if they've been extubated in the OR, they have to have some level of being able to control their airway before they come out to you in PACU. Sometimes some people might be a little bit too sedated, or they got a little bit too much meds from, say, the nurse, or some people might have renal issues or problems clearing meds fast enough. So you could give them a teeny bit of morphine or fentanyl or Dilaudid. Rarely give Dilaudid in PACU because they're coming out so heavily sedated already. So a little bit of meds could just throw them over the snoring where you have to be lifting that draw or putting a NPA in to secure the airway. So it all depends. Airway, breathing, circulation. You're checking your incisions to make sure there's no bleeding. If there's a time limit on when you need to hold that patient, if you have to draw labs after that procedure, say for example a thyroidectomy, normally you want to get a PTH after. It all depends on the type of surgery. If it's a gynae procedure where usually after those surgeries, a lot of women and men have urinary retention issues. So if it's something that you have to do work with the bladder, we do a lot of knee replacements and hip replacements. For those patients, you have to monitor your spinal levels, seeing how fast it's taking your spinal level to resolve. And you're making sure you're resolving in the right direction, going down, 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 down. So making sure that the feeling in your legs, you have feeling there, then in your knees, you have feeling there, and make sure it's not going the opposite direction, because as you could tell, what will happen if your spinal is going in the reverse direction, you could have some serious respiratory issues right there, and that is an emergency. So it is just using your nursing judgment in a different skill set area, and that is why they stress they love for nurses to have a background in either ICU or ER, so that when these emergencies arise, because they have, you know how to act fast, you know how to think fast. I've seen, we recover interventional radiology, and normally the patients that go through interventional radiology, they're pretty sick. A lot of dialysis patients, oh my. And I've seen a case, we do a lot of lung biopsy, liver biopsy, kidney biopsy. And with these lung biopsy especially, you have to hold them for at least, is it 2 hours or 1 hour? I don't remember. You have to hold them just to make sure, because the biggest risk with that is a hemo or a pneumothorax. And I have seen a lung biopsy that started to decompensate. Not my patient, but in an emergency, you have to help. So blood pressure starts to drop, heart rate starts to go up, almost. Oh, who called me from Lake Tahoe? I don't know that number, sir. Excuse me. Anyways, they were the lung, because there was a hemothorax developing, that was what? Pushing the heart. That's when you end up with, I can't remember all my terms. No, remember you would look for midline trachea, make sure the trachea is midline and not deviated, because that pressure from the lung sometimes can push the heart, make pressure on the heart, and that's called a tension pneumothorax. That's very dangerous. Thank goodness we intervened before, so we had to put in an emergency chest tube to relieve that pressure, and the patient had to go directly back into surgery. So you have to realize these signs and know when a person's condition is deteriorating really fast. Oh my God, that was one question I'm answering. I'm sorry. But anyways, that will answer a whole lot of questions, because a lot of these questions are repetitive, if you know what I mean. I got a lot of interview questions. Can you give us information how to prepare for your PACU interview? I think I went into detail about emphasizing strength in communication, time management skills. In pre-op, you do a lot of teaching, because you are explaining these surgeries to these people in layman terms. You are explaining the expectation for recovery. You are going to have pain, ma'am or sir, but we want to have it at a tolerable level. So you want to quell their anxieties. A lot of people come in there crying. Surgery is serious. It is serious, you know. There's so many risks involved, and depending on the type of surgery, a lot of people are concerned, especially when you're doing these spine surgeries or these brain surgeries. We do a lot of neuros. Am I gonna wake up? Or so just quelling those anxieties and just explaining stuff because a lot of fear is fear in the unknown. They don't understand these things. So doing a lot of that. So definitely education is a big part. And of course, your critical thinking skills, being quick to solve problems, and just, blah, 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 all of those things, all the stuff you would do in a regular interview. You know the interviews, they ask you the same questions over and over and over again. Why would you want to be a PACU nurse? Why would you want, tell me a little bit about yourself? All the generic questions, those are easy. PACU specific, if you've had ER or ICU experience, pretty much same questions. Okay. All right, that doesn't apply. All right, love your channel, med-surg nurse. Is there any chance, got this one a lot too. Is there any chance for a med-surg nurse to move to PACU? All right. Of course, there's always a chance, especially in the hospital that you work in. It's all dependent on the hospital that you work in. Now, if the hospital is willing to train you, I would say go for it, because normally in big cities, because hospitals have access to so many nurses, they're rarely going to ever train a nurse for a department where they could get a nurse with umpteen years of experience to do. So normally the little country hospitals, or the hospitals way out that nobody wants to work at, those are like gold mine to get your experience. And sometimes the patient population there sometimes depend on the community. Like this hospital that I started ER nursing in, it was a small community, but riddled with meth and drugs, and people just did not care for themselves. So the experiences I got in that hospital was like crazy. Like you were seeing things where I don't think you would see anywhere else. It was intense. It was intense. You really, when you were done there, you really knew how to survive in any hospital, I think, any hospital here. So if you get that opportunity from your hospital, that's great. Generally speaking, no, they want you to have at least a year of emergency room or ICU training. And if you get an opportunity to do that too, I would suggest do it, just so you could become comfortable with patients being in an altered state. Because even procedural sedation, you get that both in ICU and ER. And that's the main thing why they want you to have those type of experience. It's mainly experience with procedural sedation, because you're gonna have to push these meds, some meds, for moderate sedation. You're gonna have to monitor the patient, and you're gonna have to be able to recognize when something isn't right and know what that is. So, and sometimes you can fix it too. I mean, you have anesthesiologists that work with you right there, just like you have in the ER, you have your ER doctor. But certain things come with experience. I can look at a certain patient and tell, all right, they're just sleeping, they're just fully medded up or whatever. And I could look at a patient and tell when something is just not right based on experience. So you might stand a chance. It all depends on if your hospital would be willing to train you. All right. Do you work with sick kids? I have no idea what that is or where that is. Hi there. I would like to ask you a few questions to be ready for a PACU interview. And guys, you could really easily just Google PACU interview questions. There's really no big secret. I know a lot of people don't know a lot about the PACU, but just Google the questions and think with that mindset of education, critical thinking, time management, especially in pre-op. Pre-op goes really fast, kind of like you're turning, as soon as you get rid of one patient, you're pulling back another one to start a pre-op. depending on how many surgeries your facility do per day. Okay, same, kind of pretty much. So most of these are pretty much the same questions over and over and over again. So if you are considering a job in the PACU, it is highly rewarding. Your patients normally wake up thanking you, even though you've done nothing. The surgeon did all the work, but they wake up thanking you because the meds are on board. Everyone is so appreciative of your care, and it's a different skill set that you learn. Communication, you really build your communication skills in PACU and pre-op because you get to talk to these patients before they go into surgery. You get to know about their family. You get to know about everything that's going on in their lives. You'll cry with them. You'll have patients that want you to pray with them. You kind of have this connection because they're more times than often healthy patients just going in for a procedure. Sometimes you'll see those patients with cancer. They're coming in to put their ports in, which is sad, and you hear their story. So you build more of a rapport and you have time to do that versus in the ER. I'm sure ICU you might have time too with the family, especially if your patients are verbal. But in the ER, it's usually just go, 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 go. Yes, I might want to talk to my patient, but I have 3 more patients that I need to go address something, or to, I have doctors calling me from here, x-rays calling me from here. So it's very rewarding, and it builds a different skill set in you as far as using that communication skill and stuff. If you have any more questions about the PACU that I have not answered, feel free to shoot me a message down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as the YouTubers say, so that this channel will grow. See, this is my second video in 2 days, so I'm actually doing good. I'm really proud of myself, but time is going and I don't want this video to be super long, so I'm gonna shut up now. I will see you guys in my next video, and if you guys want to know more about the PACU, just ask me and I'll make more videos, okay? Thank you. Or the ER. If I have ER people here who want to get in the ER, I'll make another video on the ER, okay? Bye. Take care.